Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
And on today's show, we're going to talk about Christmas trees.
Yes, both fresh-cut Christmas trees.
And balled and burlapped living Christmas trees.
We'll explain what to look for when picking out that perfect tree.
And we'll also explain how to take care of it once you get it inside your home.
So stay tuned, and we'll be back after these messages.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call us on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. And if we use your question on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. 1880, and we'll see you in the garden.
Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Well, Julio, we're going to start off with some Christmas lore about Christmas trees.
Oh, that's great, Len. We like that.
Yeah, well, what have you got?
Oh, we're going to start out with how it all started with this traditional Christmas trees in our homes. And one of the first things we're going to look at here is where does it come from? And it looks like we're looking at Europe at this time.
Yeah.
And the Germans are a big, big influence on how the Christmas trees came into being here in the U.S.
Now, be careful. I'm German. Brett's German. He may shut your mic off if you say anything bad.
Okay.
So what's the first story?
First story is back in 722. That's going back quite a ways.
Wow.
With Saint Boniface. I think that's how we say it. Boniface?
That looks like it to me.
Now, he was walking around and he saw some pagans who were about to sacrifice a child at a base of a huge oak tree. Okay? And he cut down the tree to prevent the sacrifice. And what happens? A fir tree grows up at the base of the oak. He then tells everybody how beautiful this evergreen is. It's amazing. And that the branches are pointing to heaven, which was a holy tree now, and the tree of Christ the child, and a symbol of his promise of eternal life.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And so the start of Christianity spreading throughout Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Amazing.
You know, I've always known about how Martin Luther, when he was the reformer,
right,
and that during the Reformation, and
yeah.
he was walking at night, and he looked through the evergreen trees, and the stars were perched on the branches in the distance. And he thought, wow, that's incredible. And so what he did is it inspired him to bring that home, and it was all about God's creation, and he brought it home and brought a tree home into the house. Wow. And decorated each tree, and then shared it with his family as an inspiration.
Wow, what vision he had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
You know, but mostly it comes from a pagan tradition where it goes back to the winter solstice where people brought evergreens into their house, and mostly it was cut branches and things just to earmark that time of the year.
Right. It was kind of cold, it was dreary. Right, and it was becoming. It was going to become warm.
Days
were longer. That's right.
Days were getting longer.
Days were longer.
Yep, the 22nd is the shortest day of the year.
That's right. Wow.
Yep. Now, also that even in this country, that some people thought that it was a pagan thing to do.
Right.
You know, it didn't really catch on for a while.
No, it did. It took a little while to get going.
That's right.
And then you go into the English. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And how they brought that also into the mix. Because, Prince Albert was German, even though his wife, Victoria wasn't.
I always think of Prince Albert in a can. Let him out. Anyway, it's a bad joke.
Okay. They start out, bringing the Christmas trees into England.
Right. That's right.
In around 1840-ish, around that time period.
And others say that it was Good Queen Charlotte.
Queen Charlotte.
There's a band called Good Charlotte.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, anyway. She was the wife of King George III.
Yeah, how about that?
And that she was German.
Mm-hmm.
And that Charlotte went and she brought a Christmas tree into the house because it was part of her German tradition. And again, from that whole Martin Luther story.
Right.
But what happened is that it was brought into Windsor Palace in the 1800s, and she had this beautiful ornamental tree that had ornaments and party favors and everything all over it. And all of the kingdoms, England's, richest families and such, they wanted to copy that. Mm-hmm. And so that's when it really picked up.
Yeah, she was popular back then, too.
That's right. That's right. And it actually hit different newspapers. And, of course, what happened?
Just spreads
to the United States.
That's right.
Yep.
Right into the USA.
Yeah.
And now it's become pretty pervasive all over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And basically, as Christians, and really of people of faith, it was hijacked from a pagan tradition.
That's right.
And now it just represents the holiday season, the Christmas season.
Yeah, and a lot of the Puritans weren't too happy about that either. At one point, they thought,
they recognized it as a pagan holiday, and it was like, you Germans, but yet it was not for all of them. So it was slow to adopt because I guess when was it? It was brought to the White House not until the first White House Christmas tree was, 1889.
Right, that's pretty. It's quite a while.
That's when you were born, right?
Oh yes, I remember those days.
Yeah. And that it was 1931 when the first Rockefeller.
Wow.
Yeah, Rockefeller Center Christmas tree.
How about that?
And what happened is that it was put up by construction workers, and so it was just something that they threw up there, and that they had it up. But it became that annual tradition.
They were cold, and they needed to see something green.
Yeah, it might be
after all that concrete, right?
That's right. They didn't have a tree during World War II because of a blackout.
How about that?
Yeah, and then after that, they just went crazy with. So after the blackout of World War II was over, then it became kind of like we know now. Sure. It's a big show-offy kind of thing, and it's fun.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It is. One interesting thing, Len, back in those days in the 1800s,
right?
They decorated with what?
I don't know.
Things to eat: apples, marzipan. It was.
What is that?
It's a Spanish. I think it's like a pastry.
Okay.
And from Spain.
Right. And
so that's what they put on their. I know Martin Luther. He put in candles.
Right.
Now you got to be careful because you can't.
We don't recommend candles now.
That's right.
But I understand it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you're talking about Rockefeller, right?
Mm-hmm.
Center.
Yep.
1931. What happens? Yeah. Electricity comes in. That changes the whole picture, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It does. I don't know. I find that it's just fascinating to think of how long it took before it was really adopted into our country.
Oh, wow.
Relatively new. I mean, it's not like it's always been a tradition from, back in, I guess, colonial days, because it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No.
It wasn't.
It takes a little time.
Yeah.
Yep. It wasn't just overnight.
We were talking in that you had your first Christmas tree.
Right.
And you were 7 years old.
That's right. 7 years old.
You're immigrants from Cuba.
That's right.
And and they didn't have Christmas trees in Cuba.
We had palm trees, remember?
Wow.
But no, that was my first one.
Yeah.
And it was a small one. It was probably about 5 foot, 6 foot,
Well, I tell you, the amount of trees now that are sold, you've got some statistics that are just incredible.
It's amazing.
But how many Christmas trees? Now, cut Christmas trees, not artificial Christmas trees.
No, not artificial. No. Last year, we sold 27.4 million trees.
I would like to say Bloomers sold that money, but we did not.
No, we did.
But so that's throughout the United States.
Throughout the U.S.
27 million.
That is.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It is. It is. And you think of the farmers, and it takes a lot of work to grow a Christmas tree.
Yes.
You know, if most people, the most popular size is 7 to 8 foot Christmas tree, and it's going to take 10 years
at least
to grow that. They need to be sprayed. They need to be sheared.
A lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And that it's relatively a bargain.
It is.
When you think about that.
That's right.
And that, again, I love having a fresh tree in the house because you know as soon as you walk in, it's Christmas.
You smell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So if you have an artificial tree up, nothing against artificial trees, decorated beautifully.
Wow.
Some people put them up before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
I'm not going to go there, but
Right.
Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving and Christmas is Christmas.
Yes.
But at least you can have that up and then put a second tree up.
That's right. You can have 2 or 3 trees now.
You can. You can. But having a fresh tree and an artificial tree is a great idea.
Great balance, huh, Len?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. What was your favorite story when you were doing some of the research that you found about? Mine is the Martin Luther story.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
I love that one. The fact that back then they were putting on their things to eat, like apples, that's what they were putting on the trees.
So instead of being like the English showing off their wealth, they were actually showing off is more wholesome, I guess.
Yes.
More authentic.
More authentic, yeah.
I understand
more
that.
natural looking.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, in our next section, we're going to talk about bald and burlap trees.
Oh, wow.
So stay tuned, and we'll be back after this. The holiday decorating season has begun, and using fresh greens, wreaths, roping, and cut trees inside and outside the house are all part of making the season merry and bright. But have you ever had those decorations start to drop those needles, dry out, and turn brown long before the holiday season is over? Bonide has the answer. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath Ready to Use. It's an all-natural product. Once applied onto your Christmas trees, wreaths, roping, and greens, will put a clear coating on the greens which keeps them from drying out. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath Ready to Use seals that moisture in, so your decorations will stay fresh looking longer. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath is available in a pint ready-to-use size with a convenient trigger sprayer. For those larger holiday decorating jobs, get Bonide's all-natural Wilt Stop Plant Protector, available in pint, quart, and gallon concentrates. Bonide products are family-made in America. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath, ready to use, and other Wilt Stop products are available at these fine stores: Clark Seed, Kenton, Delaware; Southern States Co-op, Middletown, Delaware; Ronnie's Garden World, Smyrna, Delaware. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call us on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. And if we use your question on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. All right, Julio. So, bald and burlap Christmas trees.
Wow.
Okay, so what is a burlapped tree?
Yes. A burlap tree is where you have the whole root systems incorporated with the soil, and it's in a ball shape.
Okay. It's meant to be planted outside?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to think about.
There is.
When doing that.
Yes, there is.
Let's just say that either you go small and it's somewhat manageable.
Right.
Or you go big. Go big or go home. Or you go big.
Right.
And you got to remember that the tree is going to be taller. So if you usually get a 7 to 8 foot Christmas tree, don't go out and say, I need a 7 to 8 foot bald burlap tree, because that ball is probably going to be about 18 inches to 2 foot tall.
That's right.
So now all of a sudden you have a 9 to 10 foot tree. So you don't want that.
Yeah, we'll fit into to the home.
5 to 6 foot tree is good.
Right.
And that a bald tree is something where you bring it inside the house,
right?
Kind of like them pagans.
Yeah,
bring it in and just for a short time, and then bring it out and plant it out in the yard.
That's great.
It's a great idea.
A great idea. Yes, I love it. Because now you could another tree outside.
Yeah.
That you can plant.
Now, how about this idea?
What's that?
Baby's first Christmas.
That's right.
Right, you bring that tree in, and you say, "Look, honey, when you were a year old, I put that tree in your first," and then it goes back outside where there's a little bit of a memory tied to that. All kinds of things where you want to mark the year. It's a great idea.
It is. Oh, I like that.
Great idea.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Now, it's going to cost you a little more.
That's right.
Don't cheapen out.
Yeah.
You have to get a good tree from go to your garden centers and get a good tree.
That's right.
The trees are taken care of. They're good for this area, which we'll get into in a little bit later. And that you're going to be, I don't know, $150, $200, maybe less. I mean, you might be able to find something for $99, but it's going to be smaller. So it's all proportional to the size.
That's right. That's right. And like you said, Len, the Independence Garden Center knows what they're doing and bringing those types of plants in.
Right. And that there's varieties that you got to look for. First of all, spruce is probably the most common. Blue spruce, most spectacular because it has the blue needles. Very pretty.
Very pretty.
White spruce is going to have a shorter needle, a little bit on the gray side. It's not as spectacular as the blue spruce, but it's still nice. Great tree. Nice. Grows in this area. Norway spruce.
Oh, yes. I like that one.
Tell us about Norway spruce.
Oh, this is probably the Christmas tree. I think.
It is.
I think. You think?
Yeah, it's true because like Rockefeller Center, most of the time that's a Norway spruce.
It's a Norway, right.
Yeah.
There are nice, firm needles, right? And one thing that's really nice about them is they grow fast.
Yeah.
So
they do.
And they're easy to take care of.
Yeah.
Hardly any problems with it, pest-wise.
Central leader.
That's right. It's a beautiful green.
It is. Dark green.
Deep green. Yeah, I love that green.
Me too. And then there's another type that's Serbian spruce. It's kind of like a mix between a white spruce and a Norway. Its needles are a little sharp.
Are they?
Yeah, they're small, stubby, but it's a pretty tree.
Oh.
Very pretty. Very pretty. And then after spruce, there's Douglas fir. Douglas fir are also probably after blue spruce the second most common.
Oh, yes.
You see them also as a cut tree.
Right.
Pennsylvania is known for their quality of their Douglas fir.
Oh, nice.
Great plant.
Great plant.
The only thing
is
softer
needles.
Softer needle, but it also, if you have like heavy wooden ornaments or anything, it kind of weighs down a little bit.
Does. Okay.
So it decorates a little differently.
Great smell, Len.
Absolutely. All of these are going to have that great evergreen smell.
I love it.
Then there's another one that's concolor fir.
Concolor
fir have really long blue needles, blue-gray, and even a little green needles to it.
Okay.
Very pretty.
You don't see them too much, do you?
No, you don't. But they're out there.
Are they?
They're out there. We get them from time to time in a cut tree.
Wow.
Citrusy smell.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what everybody remembers. That thing smells like almost a mix between pine and oranges.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, nice. It is very nice. But they're brittle.
Oh, are they?
They're brittle. The branches snap. So if you've got to manhandle it to bring it in the house, you sometimes can have some broken branches.
I see.
One thing that Alberta spruce, Alberta spruce is something that's easily manageable, usually container grown. It's kind of looks more like a shrub than a tree.
Right.
But it's a great plant.
It's a great plant.
You can transplant it into your landscape.
That's right.
Easily grown in this area.
Everywhere.
Yeah. One thing not to buy.
Right.
There was a few years ago that there was some Fraser fir being sold in this area.
Okay.
And it's not meant for this area. Like you cannot grow in southern New Jersey, the Philadelphia marketplace. You just can't get a Fraser fir to grow well.
Right.
You can on the outskirts of the Philadelphia market and where it's cooler, maybe, but it's too hot.
Too hot.
It's not that it's cold, it's too hot.
Wow.
So it's the summers that kill them. So I just stay away. Stay away. And balsam fir, if you ever saw a balsam fir B&B, just avoid it altogether. Okay. Don't mess with them.
It's good to know.
Yep.
Good to know.
Yep. All right. So I want to get a B&B Christmas tree, and I'm ready to bring it in the house. What do I do?
Well, you better have some help.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you can't do it alone.
You're talking about 100 pounds.
Yes, it's pretty
plus
heavy.
200. Bigger ones, 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to think about this.
Mm-hmm. You have to be careful as to how you do this, because we're going to put it into a metal wash tub, which I think is the best.
Yep.
Some people use the plastic, but
don't.
Nah.
They crack.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you have water all over your hardwood floors. You
not
don't
good.
Want that. You don't want that.
So the metal wash tub is the best.
Yeah. Yep. And then you've got to bring it in slowly, because what happens is if you bring it in too fast, you're going to shock it and it's going to start growing. You don't want that. You want to acclimate it into your house. You want to acclimate it out of your house.
So how do we do that, Len? How do you want to?
Well, gradients. So outside, like we had 17 degrees not too long ago.
Oh, I know.
So you got to bring it into, say, an unheated porch, unheated garage, get it used to a little more temperate.
Right.
And then bring it into the house and shut the heat off to that room. Close those vents. You want it cool. Okay. The ideal thing would be putting it onto unheated porch and celebrating Christmas out there. Just put on a sweater. You'll be fine. But nobody wants to do that. You just want it in the coolest room and make sure that it's cool. And also spray it with wilt stop. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. What do we call it?
Chapstick for your plants.
That's right.
There you go. And also, it's got to be watered. Mm-hmm. Remember, you're bringing it inside. Mm-hmm. You're bringing it inside. You want to make sure that goes and doesn't start growing, and that with the heat and everything else, it can be a problem.
Now, one of the things that you had pointed out before is about timing this, because it's important because of the fact that they can dry up pretty fast. Right.
Timing, you don't want a short amount of time, a week. By the 22nd, maybe bring it in, but have it out by the 29th. If you're going to put it in longer, just make sure that the longer you have it in the house, the longer that process of going back outside is going to take it to unheated porch, then to the garage for a couple of days. You're going to acclimate it back into the warmer weather. We've had people where they go and they put them in and they start to grow in the house. And that is not good. No, not good. Not good.
Yeah. So there's a process here, Len. There's steps you have to take.
Yep.
You don't want to rush things, right?
Right. And then when you water it, don't fill the bucket with water.
Yeah.
What you want to do is you're going to treat it like a house plant. You're going to water it. But best thing to do is get a bunch of like beach towels or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Get them all soaking wet and just lay them over top of the ball.
That works. It works beautifully.
Yep. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's easy. But again, remember, you've got to acclimate it back outside. And one trick is to dig that hole before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Put like a piece of plywood over it so nobody falls in it.
Right.
But dig that hole twice the size of the bottom. How do you do it? You do it twice the size of the bottom. Right. Add half organic matter mixed with the soil. Pack it all around the root. Nice. And then you're done. No fertilizer at this time of the year. Start that fertilizer sometime, say in March, and then you go through that process. You don't want to feed it at this time. You want to wait till it breaks in spring.
Right. And it can be done because we've done it before. We've done planting in January, February even.
Yep. As long as the ground's not frozen, you can plant. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to be out there with a pick and shovel after Christmas digging a hole.
That's a tough one.
So if you've got any questions, go to your local garden center. They will be able to help you and give it a try.
Yeah.
Especially those of you that have just had kids.
Oh,
yeah.
That's wonderful.
You want to get
memories.
Kill two birds with one stone. You can create a hedge, and you can go and have that memory on and on.
Oh.
All right, we're going to be right back after this. We're going to talk about cut trees next.
Cut trees, wow.
High Yield brand bone meal contains 10% slow-release natural phosphorus. It helps all plants to develop sturdy root systems and stimulate healthy growth. You'll use it every time you plant bulbs, but it also is an excellent supplement fertilizer for roses, flowers, and vegetable gardens. High Yield bone meal is sourced from steamed bone meal, which provides a clean, natural source of phosphorus. High Yield is brought to you by VPG, the Fertilome people, and is available at these great stores. Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Bloomers in the Garden is an hour-long gardening radio program that airs to over 6 million residents throughout the Delaware Valley. From Allentown to Wilmington, from the Main Line to the Jersey Shore, Bloomers in the Garden can be heard twice each Saturday morning, first at 8 a.m. on 860 WWDB and again at 9 on 610 a.m. ESPN Radio. Each episode of Bloomers in the Garden will be broadcast on Bloomers' Facebook page and available as a podcast on bloomersinthegarden.com. Bloomers in the Garden is adding sponsors. Share your message to our large, diverse group of listeners. Commercials and segment sponsorships are available at incredibly affordable prices. Let Bloomers in the Garden get your message out to one of the largest and most diverse populations in the country. If you're interested in joining us in the garden, please visit bloomersinthegarden.com or email len@bloomers.com. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call us on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. And if we use your question on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Len, what should we look for when we're picking out that perfect tree?
Well, first of all, you got to be careful where you buy it.
That's right.
You know, there are lots of places that all of a sudden are in the Christmas tree business, for a month.
That's right.
Again, it's go to some place where they're established. Mm-hmm. One thing to look for is, are they laying their trees prostrate on the ground, or do they have them standing up to where the cut portion of that tree is sitting, be able to absorb a little bit of water? Like at Bloomers, we make a point of it that we sit our trees standing up so that they're absorbing moisture from the ground still. Mm-hmm. You know, it makes a big difference.
Big difference, Len.
Big difference.
Yes,
Once those trees are cut, they've got to get that moisture somehow. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as they're cut, they begin to callus over a bit.
That's right.
And also, if you're supporting the local, the local garden center or what have you, that they're going to have a reputation to protect.
That's right.
They are, of course, looking to make a profit, but they're also going to have the best trees, the freshest trees.
That's right.
They have relationships that sometimes over years and years and years.
Oh, yes.
It's funny. I was talking to someone just recently who I was buying cut flowers from his great uncle.
Oh, my.
30 years ago, and we're still buying product from that same family.
That's beautiful.
And that's how it works.
Oh,
that's how it works. Your local garden centers have those reputations,
Uh-huh. And the integrity. We have integrity. We've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And, people, they trust us.
Yeah.
For what we're doing.
And that way you get something good.
That's right.
You don't want something that's going to dry out, but sometimes that happens too.
That's right. It's not always 100%.
No. So let's talk about trees.
Yes.
When trees are cut, they're graded.
Right.
There's a premium grade, then there's a number 1, then there's a number 2, and then there's a number 3. Now, premium grade are the absolute perfect Christmas tree.
Wow.
You're going to pay for it.
Okay.
But again, it's perfect Christmas tree. It's fresh. It's exactly what you look for.
Can't go wrong.
Right. Number 1s are decent, but may have a hole in the back of it, may have a little spot that doesn't look perfect all the way around. But you know what the perfect tree is?
What's that?
Perfect tree has 3 good sides. Like that? I've been selling Christmas trees a long time.
Because
I use that
of the fact that...
Hey, trees are natural things grown. They are sheared. They are kept tight.
That's
but again, the perfect tree, you can find it. You can find it. But
these aren't industrial trees.
they're not made in like 30 seconds.
That's right.
Imagine that. Think about it. These trees are grown in 10 years plus, depending on the size. Like at Bloomers, we've got 12-foot trees out there. Yeah. Bert and Donnie.
That's right.
They tell you what, man,
they're working hard.
They absolutely are.
Yeah.
But in any case, types of trees. Douglas fir, most popular in this area. Fraser fir, probably more than even Douglas these days. Okay. Douglas, you can find, are grown from Pennsylvania. You got to be careful because there were some that were grown in Oregon.
And what happened?
And it's strange that you think Oregon, that it's cold, but when they came out to the east, they were perfect. I mean, really perfect, like they were manufactured. And what happened is they froze. When they froze, they dropped all of their needles. Oh. They didn't go dry. They just dropped all their needles.
Wow,
so if there's Oregon Douglas around, I'd be careful. Yes. You want to buy Pennsylvania Douglas.
That's right.
Okay, so stay.
Because it's closer to our environment.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And that where Fraser fir, mostly grown in North Carolina and Pennsylvania. Again, dark beautiful needles, and you want to make sure you pull on that branch and you see if any needles come off in your hands. You're going to get a few.
Sure.
But you don't want it to strip it.
Right.
So you do that. That's a test.
Wow, good test.
Yeah. There's Canaan fir.
Fir.
They look like a long needled Fraser.
Wow.
Really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty. Mm-hmm. There's concolor fir. We talked about those a little bit.
Right.
Pretty blue,
but
fragile.
Okay.
If they can break and they can be a little brittle.
Okay.
There's also the blue spruce, cut blue spruce.
They're pretty, aren't they?
They're pretty.
Yes.
And you can find some every once in a while. Like we have some this year.
Sure.
Not too many.
Okay.
But gosh, they're in perfect shape.
Are they?
They have that nice leader. They're good to decorate, but they bite.
What? They do?
Yeah, I mean, they have
prickly
needles.
Okay.
They call them needles for a reason. All right. Okay.
So which one do you like, Len? Which one do you prefer? I know you like them both.
I'm leaning towards
which one?
Taking one of those Canaan firs home that we have.
Oh, okay.
Now, they look so much like a Fraser that they're kind of mixed in with our Frasers, but I can tell. I'm going to try a Canaan fir, or I'm going to take a blue spruce home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, my daughter's going to decorate it, so
is she?
Yeah. I'll warn her. It's like wear gloves or you know.
Watch it.
Yeah. But again, I really think it's either it's going to be one of the Canaans or a blue spruce.
How about that?
Yeah.
Good.
Gosh, I opened a blue spruce that was just perfection.
It was yours.
It was perfection. I know I didn't put it aside. I put it up for sale, but man. That powder blue color and its shape was that perfect pyramid shape, and it was nice. It was really nice.
Look at that. In the spirit already.
Yeah. But again, you want to make sure that you're seeing how the trees are handled. Like a lot of times there's those spikes that are drilled. Like for instance, we will drill people's for their tree stands. They have those spikes. And that a lot of parking lots now where they set up and they do trees, or they have a paved area, that those spiked stands where the trees are sitting on those spikes, there's a little trough of water that is made to sit under those spikes so that they still water the trees. If you're buying your trees from a place that doesn't do that or doesn't have them into where they're touching the ground where it can absorb some of that water,
don't get it.
Make sure that you're pulling on those branches and seeing how fresh it is.
Good. Good test.
Yeah.
Good test.
Yeah.
You got to test it.
Yeah, and again, most garden centers, they've been doing this for years.
That's right.
Years and years. So they're the place to trust.
Yes.
So what to do is get out there, go to your garden center, go take a look at the trees that they have. Listen, a $29.99 tree is just that. It's just going to be, how old is it?
Yes.
How dry is it going to be?
Right.
Is it going to dry out in your house?
Right.
Honestly, I feel for the amount of time and the work that are put into it, trees should be $50.
Yeah, at least, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen cheap trees, but they're just that. There's no care. It's all about turning volume. And I mean, I was in Sam's Club and saw trees leaning up against the side, still bundled up. And
boy,
they're not cared for. Yeah.
That's one thing. We take care of all our trees,
right?
Right.
I mean, they're
from beginning to end,
right. Right. And then, there's a difference too, the way that the trees are handled.
That's right.
We're going to talk about that and what to do after you have that tree picked out.
That's right.
After these messages. So stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
The holiday decorating season has begun, and using fresh greens, wreaths, roping, and cut trees inside and outside the house are all part of making the season merry and bright. But have you ever had those decorations start to drop those needles, dry out, and turn brown long before the holiday season is over? Bonide has the answer. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath Ready to Use. It's an all-natural product. Once applied onto your Christmas trees, wreaths, roping, and greens, will put a clear coating on the greens which keeps them from drying out. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath Ready to Use seals that moisture in, so your decorations will stay fresh looking longer. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath is available in a pint ready-to-use size with a convenient trigger sprayer. For those larger holiday decorating jobs, get Bonide's all-natural Wilt Stop Plant Protector, available in pint, quart, and gallon concentrates. Bonide products are family made in America. Wilt Stop Christmas Tree and Wreath, ready to use, and other Wilt Stop products are available at these fine stores: Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, Sewell, Washington Township, New Jersey; Lehigh Valley Garden Center, Allentown, PA; Delray Plus True Value, New Hope, PA. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call us on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. And if we use your question on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. All right, Julio, you picked out that perfect tree.
Oh, yes.
Yes? So
yes, sir.
Now what do you do?
We had to cut. We cut when it's in a nursery. We cut it.
Yeah.
And we bring it in.
With a fresh cut.
Fresh cut.
Yeah,
yes.
Those of you looking on YouTube, we have a fresh cut from
right
the bottom
here
of a very big tree.
It smells great, too.
But that's one thing. Okay, so you found the perfect Christmas tree that you're going to bring home, and it's a fresh cut. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a spruce or a fir or
Fraser.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You treat it all the same. Now, they should do this for you at the store. They put a fresh cut on the bottom where they're going to take off at least an inch or so. Now, that really, it should be 2 inches. What happens on the bottom? Immediately after the tree's cut, all of the sap begins to basically crystallize, and it stops absorbing water, and it basically plugs up that area. That's why we stand ours up. We want them to absorb that water.
Water coming in.
Yeah, we got a lot of rain, so I'm pretty happy with that.
That's right.
Where that fresh cut will renew that.
Wow.
And so it cuts off that calcified section. That I'm probably using the wrong word, but basically that sap is now able to absorb through the rest of the tree again.
Oh, okay, good.
So, and then they'll also, most of the time, they'll put it in a net for you.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And then when you get it home, you want to put it in right into a bucket of water.
That's right.
Stick it in a bucket of water in your garage in a cool section. You can leave it outside, but just keep in mind that if you do want to decorate it, you want it dry. So if all of a sudden it starts to rain, you got a problem. You want to keep it dry before you bring it in the house.
That's right.
So garage is probably the best place as long as you put it in a bucket of water.
Right.
So it's going to absorb that water. Okay. Now, there's also something that you should use in that water. There's something called Prolong.
Prolong, yes.
Prolong. It can use for cut flowers. It is a flower preservative. So that it helps to draw the water
into the
from the root or from the cut
into the plant.
Wow.
Yep. It's great.
Yep.
Great product.
Absolutely.
We've had that for years.
Absolutely. And don't leave home without it.
That's right.
It's inexpensive. It's $5 or less.
Wow, cheap.
And that use it every time you add water to your stand. Right. Put it in that bucket, and that it'll help that tree to keep the moisture going through the entire tree.
Can't go wrong.
Nope. Never let your stand dry out, by the way.
No.
Always keep it full of water.
Dry.
Yeah. So, all right. Tree's got this net over it.
Right. Which is great, by the way, because it's easy to bring in.
Right.
I've seen so many places that don't even use them.
That's right.
That's one thing we do.
That's
one thing we do. Make it easy for our customers to get that tree inside their home.
Sure.
The netting helps.
We even go another step to where we'll go and take a customer's stand and fit it in to to the trunk of the tree.
Not many places do that.
No. And that it's just, again, if you're spending $40 for a tree, and they're not doing some of those services, what's it worth? I've seen a lot of marriages tested over their cut Christmas trees.
Oh, honey this and honey that.
Yeah, it's honey, you better. What's taking so long?
Oh, my goodness.
But again, at Bloomers, it's something that we do. Most garden centers will do the same thing for you.
That's right.
It's important also when you're going to bring the tree into the house.
Okay.
You should cut it open a couple of days before, because the term is let it drop.
Yeah.
So it's going to open up, and it's going to be the size that you want it in the house. So
nice.
You could bring it in the house and let it open with the netting, but you're going to have a lot of needles that are going to fall out. And listen, needles, when it's in the netting, that it's not unusual for needles to be falling off of trees.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Look outside. Outside. The leaves are falling, and that the same thing happens in evergreens.
Right.
Those internal needles drop off because they're not producing enough food. So it's something that happens naturally.
Right.
So inside needles, don't be surprised.
Don't be concerned.
No. As long as you're handling it correctly by putting it in water, that's essential.
And putting the Prolong in.
Yep, and Prolong in the stand. And now the next thing is Wilt Stop.
Wilt Stop.
Best product there is to keeping your tree fresh.
That's right.
A fresh tree is a safe tree. A tree that doesn't get Prolong or Wilt Stop is a dangerous tree because then it dries out in the house.
Right.
So Wilt Stop, use Wilt Stop, use Prolong, and make sure that you're always keeping water in the stand.
That's great.
And then Wilt Stop can be used on your outdoor evergreens too.
Yes.
Chapstick for your plants.
That's it.
Use it on your garland, on
everything.
Everything, all of your greens, your cut greens, your wreaths, everything.
Gardens, yes.
Yep. So, okay, we brought it in the house. We want to spray it with Wilt Stop, and coat it.
That's right.
Okay. And then it's opened up, and then we want to go ahead and trimming the tree.
Right. Oh, don't forget one thing.
I'm ready.
We're going to put the bag underneath, right?
That's right. Christmas tree removal bag.
That's right.
Those of you looking on YouTube, I have one in my hand. Again, how much aggravation in marriages does this thing sell?
Oh, my goodness.
We're looking at about $3.
That's right.
You put it underneath the tree, and that it'll go. And it's something nice and easy to do. You hide it under the tree skirt, and then when it's all done, you just slide it up the tree, and you wrap it all around, and you bring it outside.
Now, this one's also a skirt, too.
Yeah, you can use it as
a skirt.
Yeah, it's a piece of plastic. I don't know.
That's right. You want something pretty, right?
If you want, that's right. If you really want to use it as a tree skirt, But again, it brings it out of the house. You don't have any needles dragged all over the place.
That's one less thing.
And again, it's decorating tree. It's all about balance. Color. You don't want to cluster a bunch of colors in each spot and make it look like it's polka dotted. You want to spread it around.
Oh, you have to come to our place and look at some trees, huh?
Yeah.
Boy.
Sandy Martino.
Yes.
She's the artist.
The artist, yes.
Right?
Oh, my goodness.
I want to see her do a fresh tree.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she does plenty of artificial. Fresh trees, a little bit different.
A little different, right?
Yeah. But do you want to do tinsel? Go ahead. Tinsel's gone out of fashion.
That's right, it has, hasn't it?
You know what that means? It means it's going to be coming back.
Oh, yes, it will be.
You'll be on cutting edge.
Guess what? Bloomers is coming back with tinsels.
Yeah, I got to check with Sandy on that one. Probably not, but used to be tinsel was used all the time.
Right. I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I do. I remember customers complaining about them, the cat eating it. And anyway, so who knows? Who knows what fashion trends affect Christmas trees? But the whole thing is making a fresh cut, getting it in water immediately after that fresh cut, and keeping it in water with Prolong added to that water.
Right. Don't forget.
Yep. And then using Wilt Stop, spraying it down with Wilt Stop, letting it dry. And one thing about Wilt Stop, it has to be above freezing to spray.
Okay.
Because otherwise it doesn't attach to the plant. It freezes before it actually gets to the plant.
Sure.
So you want to make sure it's dry before you bring it in the house.
Okay.
You know, and it should be done outside. I wouldn't do Wilt Stop inside the house. Do it outside.
Okay.
All right. Or the garage is
Garage is good.
Garage is fine.
Garage is good.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to be back right after this and talk about some of our own Christmas tree memories. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomer's Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomer's Blend. Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomer's Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet Mix. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call us on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. And if we use your question on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
All right, Len, we're going to talk a little bit about our tree stories in childhood and even now, if you like.
Well, as you know, that I've been in this business third generation. So Christmas trees to us, to be honest with you, it was usually somebody else putting it in our house, and it kind of, and my mom, who worked at the business, would, she'd have family members. She'd have to get down to work. I still hear my father calling, "Is your mother leave yet?" she needs to get down here.
Oh, my goodness.
So like Christmas tree memories are not like, that romantic, fire crackling. It's like, it's like if we got it before Christmas and it was up, that'd be great. I always say to people about my own tree, I want the ugliest tree possible, because that means that we sold all the other ones.
You're kidding. How about that? That's nice of you, Len. That's really nice of you.
But and our kids understood that. They most of them worked in the business at some point, and that Christmas is a hectic time.
It is
for those people who are in the garden center business. It's it's our last shot to get some income before
hibernation.
Oh, it's not hibernation. It's sometimes it's sweating it out.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm fascinated by your story, where you guys didn't have a Christmas tree, and so tell me your story. You're 7 years old.
7 years old, Len. Yeah, and it's our first Christmas, and it was a little 7-foot tree, probably even less.
Right.
And I didn't know what was going on. I'm thinking, what is this? I never seen it because, in Cuba, we never had that. We had the Three Kings come in January 6th.
So what is that? What are the three?
The three wise men.
Right. It was it's more than just a.
That was when the children got their presents underneath their beds.
Really?
Yes, January 6th, and that was the day.
That's interesting.
So we had no trees.
So you told me, where did you get your first tree?
I believe it was given to us. So at that time, I didn't know what was happening. So
yeah.
I think it was given to us.
Oh, you're young.
Yes, I was young. And I looked at it, and we did decorate it, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And we had presents around it and everything.
Nice.
It was really a wonderful time.
Yeah.
As a child.
Yep. And then you were saying the following year.
The following year, we had nothing underneath the tree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys were newly immigrated from Cuba.
That's right.
I mean, it's a great story because it shows some of the, and I hate to say it, but the rich American, we have so much.
We have a lot.
We have so much, and we talked a little bit on our Thanksgiving show, but
that's right.
We have so much, and that a lot of times that kids don't realize what really poor is.
That's right.
And that, you told me your dad, what did your dad say that Christmas?
Oh, he said, you're not going to get presents every year like you did the first year because people were giving us beautiful presents.
Yeah.
But he did give us a few.
Yeah.
And I remember those days, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. And it was you and your brother. What's the age difference between you and Andy?
My brother is 5 years older.
Is he? Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So he
understood.
He knew.
Yes,
he knew.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. But,
beautiful.
Our own family, like we try to do that Christmas thing. And my favorite time of the year is actually Christmas Eve.
Oh, yes.
Where, at the garden center, you did as much as you can.
Oh, yes.
And that it's it. And that it's a lot of people say, oh, come to the party and do this. It's like, I just want to, it's my opportunity not to look at Christmas as work, but look at it as the holy season that it is.
Yes.
And to just relax and just sit back and just soak in for that half a day of what Christmas is all about.
That's
and try to just crank it down a little bit and relax.
But we want people to have joy as they come into our garden center land, and this is the time of year for that. And,
that's right.
We look at that way, and it's really joyful.
It is.
And they come in really talking to us about their traditions, and they bring their families. That's what we love about it all.
We love seeing them all.
Yes.
And year after year, we've got those same families coming in.
That's correct.
Yep. So get out there to your garden centers this week. That's good.
Bring back my memories,
But
right?
it will.
Yeah.
It will. You and Andy can
Thank
talk about that. I mean, it
is.
It is something special when it brings back that, you know.
I'm with you, Len, on that.
Good.
Yes.
I'm glad, because I don't want Santa passing over your house.
Oh, okay.
Well, but you've been a good boy.
Thank you, Len.
So thank you for tuning in to Bloomers in the Garden. We'll be back here next week.
Yes.
And we'll see you in the garden.
See you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder.